Welcome back, and with Cloud9 versus Golden Guardians on the horizon, I wanted to show you a perfect example of how dominant Cloud9 is with their top-of-the-table battle versus EG just last week. And it started level 1. Now, you all saw the dive, the big dive, and I'm going to show you the run-up to that dive and the setup that was perfect from Cloud9. And it starts with just the picks. First and foremost, Ashe is back, right? So you get to see Ashe. Just as a reminder, you get the poke from Volley, the approach velocity, the chase down arcs is alongside with Ghost. That makes it really difficult. Now, in this case, that's something Unforgiven and Ayla have to deal with. There's the support matchup that's kind of unfortunate for Janna. So you can see that Zven is picking up Aerie. And we'll just start this clip off right from the get-go. Starts from level 1. Unforgiven goes for a single trade. And as I kind of just speed this up a little bit, you get to see how devastating it is. The poke that comes down with it, even Ghost being popped by Berserker, and it kind of makes it difficult because with the Cole and pot start here from, let's just get that going. The Cole start here from Unforgiven, he's not going to be able to regen that HP, and so you can immediately see as we blow up the minimap, the gears start to turn a little bit. Because another point that I wanted to bring up from level 1 is Ward, even before that, catching out the pathing of the Sejuani. And so as we speed this one up, they have full information. Their jungler is pathing towards the bot side of the map. The enemy jungler is pathing towards the top side of the map. And as you can see from Berserker, he fires off his hawk shot going up, and they even catch him on the Raptors. So the Sejuani has full information. And if you look at the minimap one more time, I'll pause this for you to make this quite easy. You even see the Kindred foregoing his red. He was starting it, and then crossed straight through to help on this 3-wave dive. And so they know that the cannon minion is starting to crash. They also even zone Unforgiven and Ayla from the minion wave so they can't thin it out. And so it makes it super easy when you have all this information that this dive can go off without a hitch. Now, the one piece of information they have to be able to keep track of is, as I blow up the minimap one more time, the TP solo laners. So we didn't get to see it in this one, but in the broadcast, it kind of showed it that a scrap is happening in the mid lane. Let's get that going. And right now, Jojo is at half HP, and Ahri is keeping tabs on him, is going to chase him down if he ever tries to move out of vision. But it's a little easier for Revenge, who gets the wave pushed in, and is going to try to go back into the bush and TP. So he tries that, and it's great for Fudge to be able to go up and catch him and cancel out that TP. In this instance, the dive was so clean that he probably wasn't even needed. But that was the first part of the dive. Now he comes back, Unforgiven gets the wave pushed out, and on the next bounce back, they even get Emenes's push to be able to come out and help. And what makes this even worse is that Jojo off the last wave ends up TPing back mid, and you even get to see Revenge, who, of course, expended his TP to help them out initially with no TP. So at this point, this is the dive that you saw last week, and it was a cherry on top of the cake. I don't even need to show this part. Essentially, it was just so easy. Yes, this is the dive that you saw. That was the knockout blow, but it was the first dive, the setup to it, that set play, that made it so much easier to just destroy evil geniuses. This is the C9 that we know and remember, and the Golden Guardians have to be prepping against. That being said, we're heading out to the castle. But before we do that, Mark got a chance to catch up with a historically great LCS AD carry that you'd all know and love.
What's going on here? Oh my god. I hate these, bro. These are so cringe bad. What it's based off of, like, Eric Andre show? Like, I never watched that, bro. That's for 40-year-olds. I get, like, really easy secondhand embarrassment, so, like, when the guest is uncomfortable, I get uncomfortable.
It's jacked up that you can make a whole show about someone, and he doesn't even like it. He just roasts it.
I really thought we were going to be friends with him by the end of it. Now he's, like, emailing my dad and, like, from fake accounts, trying to tell him that he messed up by, like, raising me.
You know, he didn't even show up till the end. Like, the premise of the show was he was actually going to be here every week, and we just were, like, following the ups and downs. He just never showed up. And, I mean, to be fair, we still made a show without him.
It was funny, too, I think.
I liked it. I mean, if he doesn't want to be a part of this, like, we don't need him.
Yeah, we could talk to literally anybody else.
Literally anyone else in the world.
F double lift.
Yeah, f that guy. Let's fix this set. All right. Hello, welcome back to catching up with literally anyone other than Double Lift. We got Zven joining us. You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Glad you could join us. How are you feeling?
Dizzy.
Why?
It's double lift, man.
Give us your worst Double Lift story. Like, what do you hate about that guy?
Yeah, he suckers.
What do I not hate about double lift? I hate everything about him. He farmed me for 2 years. Then I stomp him one split finally in 2020, and he comes back and he wins in a different team. Because of Bjergsen of all people. Yo, bro. What? We're doing an interview here.
Sorry. What will it take to make Keria like you, do you think?
Is it raining in here?
Huh?
I swear, I don't know why I'm catching strays from Keria. I'm gonna start crying because I'm thinking about not crying.
It came out of nowhere. They asked me
Even at Worlds 20, what was that? The year Jensen, 22. We were like just playing, and he types FF in the middle of the game when we're getting stomped. I'm like, bro.
You beat his ass in 2018.
I don't know him before I play against him. I'm not sure why I'm catching strays in interviews. It's kind of messed up. I should talk about how much I hate double lift to help with the crying, you know?
At the end of the day, you're going to leave this a changed person, I think.
What's wrong?
Just tell me it's water, right? It's not like piss or something.
No, what are you talking about? There's no one up there. How was MSI?
MSI got canceled this year, no?
You were at MSI.
No, I don't think so. It was canceled because of COVID. You didn't read the news?
No, I didn't. Which you somehow did.
I see right through your mark.
Last split, you got into some beef with Yon.
Beef?
Yeah, you guys were
Is that what you call it?
Do you think like apologizing was like a sign of weakness?
I feel like I won the game.
We did win the game.
And then I brought attention to a dying league. I'm saving the LCS.
Yes, all right.
I remember watching a game of Phoenix 1, and they won a game, and you guys were doing this.
Oh, yeah. That was
that-
cringe, huh?
Yeah, that was just super cringe. I'm already crying, bro, because I'm thinking about not crying, and someone is pissing on me again. Why are you laughing, huh?
No,
I'm saving your job, Mark.
I don't know what's wrong with you.
I got spun around in a chair before this.
What are you talking?
There's something raining on me, bro. I'm not tripping. Okay. Will you?
What's that?
Do you hear that?
What? I'm so lost in this interview.
Yeah, you, Mark.
He was on one that day.
Why did you even make the first season about double lift? It should have been about Zven.
He's doing his
Catching up
best.
with Zven, man.
We'll see if he wants to come back after that. He was just being weird. I don't know.
that was a
Unprovoked. Yeah.
Unprovoked.
Unprovoked.
Yeah.
Surely.
Yeah.
Unprovoked.
Yeah.
Oh, it's okay. Well, congrats on the new episode, Mark. We are back. We've added him to the TriCast, so now we got a Mark squared sandwich since Azael is now in the middle. We're going to team up.
It's because of the bread.
Yeah. Isn't it Azael sandwich? Sandwiches are defined by the innards, not the outers.
My bad. I
You don't call it a bread sandwich. Come on, Mark.
I mean-
what are you, an idiot?
Yeah.
It's a focaccia sandwich versus.
We are into the draft phase. Picks and bans have already flown by Golden Guardians of Cloud9. One more ban, and it's going to be the Ivern.
Yeah, I do like that, keeping track of the extreme favoritism towards C9 in this quote-unquote rivalry. Someone was retweeting one of those quotes of the NBA players saying, like, it's not a rivalry, they beat our butts every time, you know? I don't know how many times in a row C9 has gotten better of Golden Guardians, so hopefully they have a better showing this time around.
Well, still, you have to say that record is a lot better than it first was when Licorice left Cloud9. I feel like he lost to Cloud9. It was something like 14 times in a row or 16 times in a row or something like that after he left Cloud9 initially. So, has been given a little bit better than he used to in the past. And Licorice has been having a really great split. So, Golden Guardians, if they can win this one game, hey, you're tied.
Yeah. I want to flag something. Golden Guardians, this is the first time we have seen a LeBlanc locked in all day. I know that 13-13, this was the post-static shiv nerf. Apparently, there are some people that are still running LeBlanc with the static shiv. It's not consistent, but some people still like to play with it. So we might see it in this game.
Yeah, I don't think you'll see the static shiv anymore on AP carries like LeBlanc, who cheated it by being able to jump forward. You had the AP ratio, which was also buffed on minions. They knocked the AP ratio, removed that interaction, and reduced the extra scaling for the minion damage. So she was able to abuse it quite a bit. You can still just build the regular LeBlanc item.
You can just rush Ludens, right? Like
exactly.
you don't need to go static shiv anymore.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's possible we could see it. I mean, people are still building it for sure, but like, should they be? I mean, people are building some.
That's where I'm leaning.
People are have some cooked builds sometimes, you know.
Not in the LCS. Only the best builds here. I don't know what region you're watching.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes
All
pro
of them,
players don't even
actually.
read patch notes. You never know. Now, Golden Guardians are going to go ahead and lock in this Aphelios for Stixxay and the Cassante for Licorice, more than likely. Yeah, it should be at this point since LeBlanc should be going mid lane. Now, Cloud9, they have their solo lanes already known at this point, so they can either go for a jungle combo or a support lock-in at this point.
Very interesting first phase of the draft where you have all three carry positions kind of locked in for Golden Guardians, just waiting on the jungle and support, which are usually two of the things you see earlier on.
Yep.
Especially, Aphelios got tapped a little bit this patch. You do see...
Whoa!
All right, that is Berserker laying down the gauntlet.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is one of the only ADs in the LCS that really does go back to the Draven every so often. I had some really good games on it in spring that people were kind of popping off about.
FlyQuest Decider.
Yeah, I think it was the FlyQuest Decider. And Zven also had really good plays on Renata. I believe in that game he was playing with the Renata combo. So it would be interesting to see what they want to pair with it. But, you know, if you're just going to keep slapping down Aphelios, Aphelios has gotten even more nerfs on this patch. He's been nerfed a number of times over the last bunch of patches. So, you know, he's not the strongest laner anymore. They were pro-focused nerfs. We'll see if Berserker can pair something really aggressive with Zven and really try to punish this.
That's what I was going to say is with the fact that the supports have been held now, you can actually give Zven last pick if you want it to make sure you get the most advantageous matchup possible to start snowballing the Draven.
Low key, you could also just play any Draven.
Possible.
I actually think it's not a bad kill lane. So there is potential to flex things around, but of course any also really good into LeBlanc. So it's not like they have to swap things over. Renata, that was the combo, you know, I called out that they actually played last split with it. That really was successful. So I do think as much as people are kind of memeing about like, enchanters are dead, Zven can't play, you know, he's going to be screwed. There's actually a lot of really good enchanters still. Some of them have been, you know, knocked down a bit, but there are a lot of options you do have here. And Emilio, I think, is actually a really strong pairing with it. Yeah. Even though people do think about the hard engage supports with the Draven, some of the enchanter pairings are even more oppressive, you know, in the 2v2 because Draven just walked forward with a shield and you can't win the trade ever.
Yeah, and especially if Golden Guardians go for a full dive composition, Janna's really good and just being able to deny a lot of those engages that they would want to look for. Now, we talked earlier about how a lot of the skirmishing junglers like Vi, Wukong, Kindred have been nerfed on this patch, and it's giving rise to a lot of the tank junglers that did not get touched, like Sejuani and Maokai. But Blaber's gonna say, I don't care about the nerfs. I'm still gonna go for Viego because this guy was not touched, and he's still strong in my hands.
Well, I think especially with the comp that they've drafted, Viego's all about getting the first kill. Your first three are Renekton, Annie, and Draven. Like, that is upfront damage, right? So if they can't kill one person at the start of the fight, the problem is not the Viego. The problem is everything else that's going on.
And it's a very early game focused team comp. There's not a ton of scaling built in here. So you are actually looking to run over Golden Guardians in the early game. You can see no surprise given what Azael's talking about, what C9 comp wants to do. GG takes the Braum to provide a bit more frontline, be able to block some abilities, kind of stop that dive as it's coming in. And are we getting... Well, Poppy was banned, so we're getting the River staple, the Jarvan, arguably his best champion since he's joined the LCS.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, staple, like, it was like a staple when he came in on Dig. I don't feel like he's really played it that much, you know, since actually changing teams, but definitely when he first came in, this is what he was picking every single game, and he was running over teams. He was hard carrying games on Dig when they didn't really have a lot going for them.
He does have 24 games on it in his career, 75% win rate. It's his highest win rate champion, basically behind like Nidalee and some
his highest win rate champion besides the champions that are
I thought he was going to have lower game counts when I looked at the other ones. I'm like, actually, it's 16 games in Nidalee, so he's just good at carry junglers as well.
But he won a lot.
He's won a lot of games, apparently. Underestimated that.
The last pickup here for Cloud9 was that Soraka. They were looking to see maybe it was going to be a Thresh, but instead, now you have healing on top of a very early kill lane that Draven has, and so you have sustain on top of sustain if he gets that early Vamp Scepter in this lane, or if he just wants to go for full-on kill pressure with like a BF Sword back or a Noon Quiver back. And this guy is going to be so oppressive to lane again.
Yeah, Soraka is one of the best laning supports. If you're able to land those Qs, get those set up with your E as well, you can kind of lock people in place and stop them from dodging out during the dive, flashing critical abilities. You just go for that insta-silence and then combo it with an Annie stun or Viego when he goes in. It makes it very easy to actually find kills in their turrets.
Absolutely. I mean, it's also just... the only thing you really are scared of when you are playing Soraka is hard engage supports, right? So when they blind Braum, it's such a good punish because Braum can't actually take fights against you. You're just going to lose every single trade. If Braum is playing too passively, you're not trying to get poked on, then you both walk up, you both start hitting the Aphelios. Like, that becomes really difficult. So I do think it's a bit of a nightmare lane here, honestly, for Golden Guardians. We'll see how they can navigate it. They're going to have to play super defensive with their runes, with their builds, to really just try to mitigate loss. But that can be a pretty difficult task. And you also have to remember, anytime River goes for Cataclysm, guess what? The silence comes down from Soraka. You can't do anything in that. There's a lot of champions that can really struggle against this silence.
And I imagine that because of how oppressive this bottom lane is from the side of Cloud9, that you're going to be expecting River to hover and look for gains constantly on this bottom side of the map. Because if you do not do anything to help Stixxay early on in this Aphelios, he's just going to get run over.
Yeah, it's kind of telegraphed game plan for both teams here, where it's like C9 want to go bot lane. We want to defend bot lane. And so C9 being able to get wards out will be very important to make sure that, like you said, Soraka's not getting ganked, because that is the one threat, is if a J4 comes flying in, you give a jump target for Braum to hop onto, you can chain CC here and kill her very easily. And so both teams have a huge incentive to make sure they get lots of wards out early around bot lane.
Well, it's also my expectation. I mean, I could be wrong, but I feel like Blaber could just very easily go top to bot and just be there and just standing behind them, right? Because it's like getting ganked really is the concern. And yes, you can try to get wards, but you have to get really deep wards. Because if you put a river ward, honestly, J4 can just walk through lane. You know, huhi just W's to a minion, exhausts you, autos you, Qs you, whatever. Jarvan comes in, follows it up, and that can be really, really problematic for Zven and Berserker. So I'm expecting Viego starting top, pathing towards bot. We'll see exactly where River wants to path, but it is looking like he's going to go opposite. He's going to go bot up towards top. So this could mean it's going to be difficult for GG's bot lane.
I will say, though, River's J4 does not do the traditional path very often. He is very creative. He loves hopping walls early, level 2 cheese ganks, or just doing full clear bot sides to like another attack on bot lane again. We'll see where he wants to go.
And look at those 2 wards already. Is that actually getting swept? Oh, it is. He's sweeping it. I want to double check that. Yeah, he swept the ward. So huhi started that. So they actually spotted that ward. Because I was going to say, because they're actually respecting this, right? They did 2 early wards on bot side, knowing that he could just go red, you know, and come through, you know, over the dragon wall, things like that. But I was going to say, hey, you can't do that because the ward, they're going to replace the ward. So this is really nice. But still, if huhi can actually get up here and tag them, but he's only level 1, so like this is tough. He's got to look for a Q flash basically, but I just don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
I think if he was level 2 and he had WQ, I think then you can make it happen. But Cloud9 playing smart around it. They had an early ward there. They rewarded when it got swept. They're just respecting what their opponent's win conditions are in this lane.
Really good scouting out of Cloud9. The ward to cover the exit from the Dragon Pit, another potential J4 path there. Very big commitment to use all those wards that they wanted around the bot side, but you know, they identified what we did, which is like, this is how you disrupt the bot lane. Make sure we isolate it as much as possible. They cover that one. This does mean, of course, that top lane's probably gonna be quite a bit isolated if all this attention keeps going down to the bot side.
But look at Blaber, right? Like, he's gonna be way ahead of the pace. So Gori now needs to try to find something mid, because he's still on 3 camps. Blaber's gonna be done 6 camps before Jarvan starts his 4th. So like, this is an issue. He's spending so much time here. He needs to find something because Blaber is gonna start, you know, getting eyes on it.
This is not an issue. This is his power zone. This is comfort zone, where he wants to be.
It was off screen, but there was a flash for flash traded. River went for Emenes. He burned Emenes' flash, so now you have at least a summoner advantage for Gori in the mid lane. If River can look for a repeat gank, there's a lot of pressure, but as you two already highlighted, Blaber's really insanely ahead of the curve. He's already going to be looking for vision down on the next cycle of camps from River's bot side jungle and setting up for that bottom scuttle crab.
Yeah, absolutely. He will get this crab. We'll see if he can actually go straight, you know, bot to top and look for double crab start. Nice look there from River. You know, it's an easy flash from Emenes, but when you spend that much time mid, you absolutely have to do something, and it's going to be shift from Gori. So he's actually going for it anyway. I am not the biggest fan of this. We'll see if he can actually make it work. I mean, it is still totally fine for poke and prod. He can go Shiv Ludens. You can still do the full kind of old school build. It's way weaker though, definitely. You're not going to be getting those stacks charged up as fast. You're not going to be clearing out waves as fast. It's not that it's, you know, completely unviable, but I don't think it's like some secret tech OP build anymore.
No, it's like, for me, it's if you want to weave an auto attack combo into your trading pattern anyways, you can just go Lichbane or something else, which now is a higher ratio. It's only the wave clear that's like the small advantage over Lichbane, but Lichbane has better base stats with actual AP ratios built into it as well.
And at the end of the day, like, someone needs to kill them, right? Like, you're a 2-threat team. You're playing Aphelios and LB. And Aphelios is in a lane that is going to be absolutely impossible in the 2v2. So Aphelios is going to be behind. If you have Gori going for Shiv, I'm kind of just like, where's your damage, bro?
His name is Licorice. His name is Cassante. And he is up 2 CS.
True.
There you go.
Nice.
You're not wrong.
And during all this time, River finally got a chance to recall, but because Blaber's already been out on the map first with that earlier buy, he's just stronger by a larger margin, and they have the tempo to be able to look for plays on the bottom side of the map first. They do have to be careful about this mid lane since Gori still has flash advantage over Emenes. He's not going to have the same lane prio, but Blaber can always choose to influence it since he'll be hitting level 6 before River.
Yeah, absolutely. When Emenes does his 6, can become a little bit problematic. You know, of course, you do have Fleet, so you're going to have a little bit of sustain here on the LeBlanc like you do not normally, but, you know, it can be difficult. We know these first strike Annies are just going to drop Tibbers on you on cooldown, look to get that chunk out, look to take lane prio, and try to recover from there. Zven has been tagged by quite a few spells in a row, and if you can dodge these Soraka Qs and keep hitting him with the Braum Q, keep hitting him with poke from the Aphelios, eventually he will get whittled down, and that's kind of situation he's in now.
Yep, starting to get a little low on the mana as well. overall, not too bad for Golden Guardians. Just a small gold deficit. This pressure will go to the Dragon to start that stacking for Cloud9. They are the fastest Dragon team in the league, keeping that one up, snagging an Infernal. C9 looking for a contest, but I don't think they're seriously going to do anything. The one thing about controlling the Annie's flash is it stops any potential roams from coming in, so it does buy a little bit of pressure relief around your bot lane, even though it was a gank that went mid. So that is helping control it a little bit.
Also, Berserker has completely free stacks right here. He has 133 stacks, if that counter on the screen is right, in 6 minutes. Like, that is ridiculous. So he's just double axing, you know, stacking basically at maximum efficiency the entire time. And that is going to mean if he gets that cash out, it is going to be a crazy big one. So this Draven, as it often does in games, becomes such a focal point for both teams. For Cloud9, it's all about getting him the cash out. And for his opponents, it's all about denying that cash out, getting that kill, taking off the 75% of the stacks, which can really put him back. But, you know, Draven is so hard sometimes to deny the kill from when he is free stacking like this, because that is adding damage to your ult execute, right? So if you get to a certain point, all of a sudden you just need the guy like 30% HP, and the Draven ult's just gonna one-pop you.
It's one thing that the Braum can help with, though, with his ultimate being able to break that, stop that from coming through. You can negate some of that damage, so as long as it's on you, who he's targeting, you can have a bit of counterplay against that, which is another thing that the Braum can do well against this enemy team comp.
Just pointing out now that Emenes' flash is coming back up, which means that Golden Guardians never really found an opportunity to punish the lack of anti-flash down in the mid lane. At most, it's gotten Gori a little bit of CS, but
down,
just right before the timer, they get the Cataclysm down. He's got nowhere to run. I may have jinxed it for Emenes, but for Golden Guardians, baby, they get the first blood.
Golden Guardians, Raafaa pops off!
I mean, that was just right on the timer, right? You know, was up in a couple seconds there, so it was just about the last possible moment he could go for it. He hit 6, and as soon as he hit 6, he just immediately goes mid. They do get that kill. Unfortunately, Gori was pushed back enough that they couldn't just guarantee that he would get the kill. So the kill does go over to Jarvan, but still great pressure through mid, and Annie, you know, is a matchup that a lot of people do like into LeBlanc, but he's actually down nearly 20 CS because he's missing so much of this wave. Like, not only did he died on a stacked wave.
I'm actually just legitimately surprised that River was able to hit 6 before Blaber. I wonder if just all the time spent on doing the Dragon.
XP as well. He was when you're sitting around mid, you are leeching XP pretty heavily from your mid lane. So I think he actually soaked a lot there.
Oh, the all out, that might have been dangerous for Fudge, but he turns right on back. Then the Topho Strike cast, but it's not enough as Blaber comes in to save Fudge, and they get the kill.
It looks so good for Licorice for a second, getting the flip back, but does get finished off by Blaber's ultimate. 1-for-1 up in the top side. A lot of flashes traded. He lost his, Fudge lost his, but a small advantage going to the C9 on the top side.
Yep, gonna be able to get that kill, and you get Blaber ahead of the curve here. He already has the Hearthbound Axe, so it's gonna be nice. And if he can get towards that Triforce really quick, River moving out on the map, is gonna be starting up this Herald, which does feel okay since he does have some prowess through mid, but Licorice has no TP. You know, Fudge is going to be coming back out of the map, so there is some risk to it. And you can see Blaber is moving towards mid. I think they're going to potentially look for a play here, but Blaber doesn't want to spend too much time. His camps are back up, so he's just going to continue clearing down towards bot and getting down to play around this Draven.
Yeah, we talked a lot about how much attention there would be going to the bot side, but you're also pretty happy to leave it isolated, like you said, with the Draven, because of how you can stack this up and get a bigger payout later. You don't need to kill them level 3, level 4, level 5. You can just build stacks up until you get to these dragon situations and then go for one big execute. And it's something that C9 has definitely done a little bit more this game, with just focusing on warding out rather than making plays around the Draven.
Yeah, I mean, the early game has been really solid from Golden Guardians. Honestly, I thought there was going to be way more of a CS advantage down in this bot lane 2v2. You know, in isolation, I did expect that Zven and Berserker would be able to create much more. They're going to look for the all-in.
Okay, Glacial Fissure hits Berserker, but they look for the winner's bite on Zven, so not quite the same target for huhi's target selection here. Stixxay not going to feel confident about trying to follow the all-in.
Yeah, not really going to happen. It was good silence, gets thrown down. River, though, up towards top side.
Cataclysm on Fudge. They know that his flash is down, and River knows that there's no way out for that Crocodile.
Oh, man, River is feeling himself yet again on the Jarvan pick, knowing all the angles. Gets that one with Fudge's flash down. His ultimate's still not on up yet. Does feel like Golden Guardians doing a very good job tracking timers. People tend to get like a little loose when it's just 5 seconds away. Do I want to lose this creep? No, I'll walk forward. These sorts of things. And right there again, Fudge did not have his ultimate available to survive that kind of burst that might come through. Yeah,
River really nicely done. He'd already used the slice and dice in the trade as well. So River finds that timing, has the Gore Trigger completed. So River off to a great start here on the Jarvan. You know, 2-0, has both their kills. He's going to be looking to continue keeping that pressure up, as you always want to on this Jarvan. He's cleared right back out towards top. Aphelios has made the swap up towards that side. So likely they're just going to drop Herald and try to make a play up towards that top lane for that first tower.
I really like this macro play out of Golden Guardians. You've done a good job through the lane phase so far, but you do want to start breaking out of this lane phase. 1-3-1 setups, gank setups like this.
Be tricky. Fudge almost goes down. Still has dominance. Did not pop it, but he's going to be pushed off the tower here.
That's the important thing, is they're going to get full tower, right? Like, they're not hard committing to try to get the kill because they don't actually need to. You just farm up the Krugs while Aphelios gets solo gold on plates. Then after Aphelios gets a plate or two, you come, you drop the Herald, guaranteed first turret. Licorice is defending on bot side. Gori is still pushing through mid, is creating the advantage, has that shift done. And MS is nowhere close to his mythic, so Golden Guardians looking really, really good.
Yeah, putting the fleet footwork shift to work in mid lane. The fact that you get to get this free wave clear, get this free poke down, and have a little bit more sustain than the Annie. He's been isolated this whole time, up farm, and now grabbing his own turret plates while you make plays on the top side. Huge stuff out of Golden Guardians here. 3,000 gold in the lead with what we thought was going to be a dominant C9 early game.
Yeah, it's just been great problem solving from Golden Guardians. They answered the fact that bot lane, okay, we can't really tackle the Draven by ourselves, so we're going to look on the top side of the map. Punishing mid lane, no flash, right before the timer came back up. Punishing Fudge as well. And the fact that they shifted Stixxay away from the losing lane of Berserker and Zven, it's almost very similar to what Evil Geniuses did in spring 2022. They would shift the bottom lane ahead whenever it wasn't going well, and they got Stixxay right onto the power curve just fine. So even though Berserker still has all these stacks, he hasn't cashed out yet. And as long as Golden Guardians' first fight and point of contact with Draven goes well and they shut him down, then Cloud9's investment goes to kaput.
Yeah, absolutely. I was expecting, I'll speak for myself, I was expecting that Cloud9 with this draft, with just their early game play overall, that they would be creating a big advantage and that the Draven stacks would be kind of used as that final dagger, right? If he gets the stacks, the game's just over. But now they're in a situation where it's like, he needs to get the stacks or the game is over the other way, right? Yep. Like, they are very far down. He has 340 stacks, which is a tremendous amount. You know, it's 2.5 gold per stack plus the base cash out. So it's a huge influx of gold, but even that is not going to be nearly enough to actually close that gold lead.
And we've been talking about surviving the C9 dive from, you know, the Golden Guardians perspective. Flip it around. There's not much peel on the Golden C9 side. You know, you have the Soraka silence, you have her heals, but look at the dive. Cassante, J4, LeBlanc, even Braum can get in there. Like, you can blow Draven up very easily. And so as you start getting to these neutral objective standoffs, they have to do a very good job marking their flanks and making sure that there's not actually anyone who can blow up Draven.
Yeah, absolutely. I do think that, you know, if you send too heavily on the Draven, it can be problematic. You know, Soraka can keep you alive a little bit with the ulti. Then all of a sudden you're fighting through Tibbers, you're fighting through Viego, you're fighting through an ulted Renekton. So there are tools I think Cloud9 are still going to have there to turn it around. But their only real advantage is these two dragons. And I think we are kind of marching towards an inevitable fight here at this third dragon. The Cole cash out, you know, is done for Berserker. He has his Triforce, he has his rated Dirk on top. So he is at a really big power spike right now. And I think, you know, 3 minutes from now, we could be seeing what is a pivotal game fight.
Yeah, I feel like so much is going to come down to marking the LeBlanc. She gets free poke and chip damage onto the Draven. It's very hard to play, but hold on here.
Oh, potentially a knockup from River, but it's not a much damage follow-up. Gori's waiting in the shadows before he wanted to commit, but Blaber is able to get out just fine because he has Soraka in his back.
Was he scared of like an anti-flash coming in with Tibbers or something? River flashed out so early there.
Gori might be forced to flash here if he doesn't have distortion back up, but he gets it back up. Down.
C9's bot lane was still in bot side, whereas Golden Guardians had recalled, and so I think River was scared of getting stunned up under turret and ending up in an enemy jungle and ending up in a 4v2. So
looking for Emenes. That's his flash gone. Cataclysm, but huhi with a flash, glacial fissure under the tower, and Stixxay with the green gun has the long range to finish him off.
Yeah, even through Zven's ulti there, they couldn't keep him alive. So again, River forced to use his flash, but finds another play around mid. Emenes has been pretty heavily targeted. Gori was laning great in the 1v1, and River has been there to slam home those advantages. So Cloud9 really getting into some trouble here. It's starting to look tough.
Yeah, we're talking about all these team fights that might happen. River just keeps finding these isolated targets to jump on top of, and there they get it again. C9 being a little loose with the fact that they just forced a flash. They're kind of going back to their lanes, and they're not ready for Golden Guardians to just force another play.
And it's not like Berserker is like a huge threat at the moment, but the fact that Golden Guardians have been so careful about not finding fights where Berserker is around. They're always finding picks where Berserker is not, and that ensures that they avoid the potential disaster fallout if Berserker were able to cash in.
I mean, his cash in is going to be over 1,200 gold if he gets it, right? So that is a massive influx of gold, plus obviously the kill that he would get. So they are going to have to be careful about this, but they are kind of haphazardly starting this up. Renekton is not there. Emenes is not there yet, so C9 do have to be respectful of the fact that Golden Guardians are collapsing and have the extra man until Emenes can actually get here.
And he doesn't have ulti available, so the stun would have to be a committed from just a Q or something else. Instead, Golden Guardians are securing the Rift Herald. Teleport is coming in from Gori, and Fudge is not committing his teleport, so Cloud9, they just need to get out of there. Heartbreaker from Blaber ensures that he gets out over the wall safely, but you can already tell that Cloud9, they're the ones on the back foot because they're afraid of giving Golden Guardians the huge snowball.
C9 looked like they were just poking around there. Fudge had TP, but actually stayed on the bot side, continuing to push. Gori committed his teleport as well, so one down on the side of GG gives C9 a small teleport advantage for the next couple of minutes. We'll see if they are able to exploit that at all, or if teams just reset and charge right back to this third dragon that's spawning in 10 seconds.
Yeah, it could be a play around the dragon. At the end of the day, it's not a bad exchange of gold, but with Herald in the pockets of Golden Guardians, mid-tier 1 is dead, so Cloud9 are going to lose even more map control. You know, as soon as Golden Guardians does elect to actually drop that, assuming they do go mid. We'll see what the buys are going to be, as the dragon is now live, and I think Cloud9, you know, likely do want to fight for this because this is really their only advantage at this point in the game. You can see Fudge moving over. Zven trying to move down and get some vision, but it's Emenes in trouble.
And Emenes still doesn't have flash from before, so Licorice is taking this time. However, it's a stun from the anti-tippers, and Blaber's coming in, but he didn't even need Blaber there. Emenes fights him all by himself.
I mean, you go all out. You're disrespecting that damage. He still had tippers after that, so you're cutting yourself in half health. You're taking away those resistances. If Annie had already spent her full kit, like if you'd already tippers and used your spells, then you go all out, you win that for sure. But when you put yourself that low, yeah, Emenes is behind. He's not that behind. He can still do some damage.
Bit disrespectful there by Licorice, feeling himself too much, maybe thinking, you know, even if he was able to find that kill, you have Blaber coming up because they were not contesting the dragon.
Oh, Glacial Fissure lands onto Blaber, but he still has a flash to play with and Heartbreaker, so he's not in real danger. It just guarantees that the charge goes undeterred. As Cloud9, maybe teleporting to the bottom side of the map. Fudge could be in danger, needs help taking out Gori here, and Emenes is teleport right on in. He doesn't have flash, and he doesn't have a stun available, and then Gori's pushed off.
Good restraint out of Gori. I've seen versions of Gori who decide they want that kill, says, I got flash, I got fancy feet, I can make this work. But this time, playing a little reserved. I feel like Golden Guardians is just approaching this game with a level of seriousness that you don't always see out of regular season games, where people can play a little faster, a little looser. But we talked about how lopsided this rivalry is. You saw the tally from the fans, you know, was not very sided towards Golden Guardians. So I think for them, this is a bit of a statement game to say, like, hey, we really are in contention. Licorice in the interview was saying, like, we really can be one of the best teams in the LCS, and they need to start gaining that confidence on the Rift.
Absolutely. With Cloud9 dropping a couple games of the last couple weeks, you win this game, you're tied, right? You were tied for second in the LCS. So that is, you know, where they want to be right now, where they want to try to move towards. So we'll see if they can close this one out. The gold lead has stagnated somewhat, and it is just going to be this constant discussion about, you know, can Draven get the stacks or can you shut him down? Because there is still a window of opportunity here for Cloud9 if they can get that massive cash in, you know, get that big injection of gold in Berserker that they could potentially take over a game like this. But it's not going to be easy. You know, you talk about all the tools that Golden Guardians have to pressure him, and it's just going to be armor stacking, it feels like. You can see Thornmail, Iceborne. The Annie is behind, and that's the solo AP threat. So if Annie is behind, well, you just kind of stack armor and run at the Draven.
He already has the Last Whisper just to combat that, and if he was able to get the cash in, then he would be able to spike with the Lord Dominic's regards on top of it. But if they lose that fight and he doesn't have that gold, then, I mean, you've seen Draven in the late games try to hit tanks. It does nothing, man. It just cannot cut through all the health and all the armor. So Cloud9, they are in a point where they are just desperate to find a winning fight where Berserker can get a guaranteed cash out at this point.
Yeah, and the fact that the dragon stacking has already been broken by Golden Guardians means that, you know, they can back off if they don't like the look. If someone gets chunked out while walking in ahead of time, they're not immediately forced to keep fighting, and they can kind of protect that cash in from Berserker if they ever start getting low.
And it feels like they don't really have a great answer for LeBlanc in the side lanes either, right? Gori was already winning out from the 1v1 against Fudge, and he's forcing a TP as a response. So if Gori can just play through sides, that's going to force Cloud9 back further. You know, make them be late to these dragons, but they are looking for a fight now. Blaber went way too early.
Yeah, and he has Flash and has Heartbreaker, but he still might be punished by it. River waits until he uses all of his cooldowns before committing with the Flash and the Cataclysm. Blaber is gone, and just right before the Baron is spawning, maybe Golden Guardians can tap it and see what will happen from Cloud9.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, at the very least, go look, right? Look, you can try to go for a turn if Cloud9 want to come and fight. Licorice is moving up. They're very least going to start it. Blaber is down. He has no flash. He has no quick way out. Does have those hex gates to try to get there a little bit quicker, but Gori is zoning, huhi is zoning, and it's just a two-man start here with River and Stixxay.
Berserker's walking on up. Zven and gets vision into the pit, but they don't have a smite to be able to contest it with. It would be a miracle if somehow Cloud9 stole it, but River, if he has smite, they should be able to take it out. But Berserker cashes out as huhi was trying to give his life so they could guarantee the Baron, but giving a kill to Draven might have spelled disaster for Golden Guardians. Even if they get the Baron buff after they've lost 2 members in the trade, they're going to look for more, and Stixxay's got nowhere to run. That call might have just been what the end of Golden Guardians been, as Cloud9 surge in gold.
Big mistake by Golden Guardians there. They had the kill on Blaber. They were just trying to leave huhi out as frontline to buy space for the Baron, but that actually led them right to cut off the escape of Stixxay as well, handing over multiple deaths, only a couple people escaping with the Baron buff here. You can just see huhi wanting to be a distraction, but gets destroyed by that ultimate out of Berserker.
It says 300, but it was a 1370 on the cash in there, plus the 300. He got another kill after that. So in pocket, after this fight, he had over 3,000 gold. So he's going to go back, buy a full item. But that being said, still, the Baron gold did go to Golden Guardians, and that actually just barely put him ahead of where Stixxay is. So, you know, they were so far down that, again, the cash-in from this point is not like a guaranteed win. The cash-in is what you need to have a hope, to have anything going for you, because Golden Guardians are dominating.
Yeah, there's obviously doesn't win you the game, but it does give you that influx of gold that you were just sitting on, hoping didn't go to waste later. So that is a big dub for C9, keeps them competitive, and now gives them inside track to start out this dragon.
And now it is less dangerous for Berserker to die in these fights because he's already gotten the big cash out from the first 20 minutes of the game. Golden Guardians still have Baron buff on 2 members here, but they want to fight this dragon. They want to push Cloud9 off. 4,000 HP on it already. Blaber has smite available. Can he clutch it out from River? The EQ comes in. Blaber secures it, but a cataclysm of multiple members of the Cloud9's backline. Stixxay surges forward, but Fudge pushes him off. Berserker's already taken out of the fight. It's up to Blaber if he can look for the resets. He's now a Braum. He's really taking, but he needs to look for more. Finally trying to find River, but Fudge gets taken out, and Stixxay still lives to take out Fudge, and Blaber is forced to run.
Yeah, Cloud9 trying to fight it out, but can't make it happen. Berserker had no flash, so no way to get out of that cataclysm, and Blaber did get his first reset, but was not the one he wanted. Stixxay had the summoners, was able to stay alive. So Golden Guardians getting another win. There's no tier 2 tower here either, so Stixxay's gonna be able to take mid. They're just gonna continue chasing Blaber, and they can get even more.
Despite the Baron oopsie, Golden Guardians is right back on train, 5,000 gold lead. C9 critically did win that smite steal, so that does give them a potential to get soul in 4 minutes. When we go back and look at this, though, you have to see the J4 engage, the 3
we can listen into the Golden Guardians comms here.
Just slowly.
Yeah.
I need no flash. I don't have no flash.
I'm looking to flash on Draven.
Renekton?
Yep. Any ult? Look.
Yeah.
Yo. Draven.
I'm low.
Counter.
I'm ulting 2.
I have so much. Viego still up.
Nice.
Viego, don't flash.
I mean, you can hear the comms there as we're going to Zven die. You know, we just saw him in the replay have to blow his flash, but they called out. Emenes, had no flash. Danny had no flash. The Draven had no flash. Licorice very early said he's looking to flash onto the Draven. When they went forward, Stixxay flashes in. We saw the immediate response flash from Fudge to try to push him out, but he can't actually finish him off. And with Draven down, with Annie, getting pushed out, there just wasn't enough damage left in the tank for Cloud9.
Golden Guardians seem this game is very good tracking of summoner spells and cooldowns right there, being able to jump on both backline members of Cloud9 and kill them, and then Stixxay having his, critically saving it from that Baron situation, knowing I'm already cut off, I'm going to die, doesn't waste them. So he has it in that fight to flash over the wall and then critically still be up to land his ultimate onto Fudge and finish off that last kill.
It starts feeling like the last hope here for Cloud9 is now getting soul, because it is a really powerful one here with the Hextech soul. If they can grab that, it really does erase a lot of the combat stats advantage. The souls are worth thousands of gold in stats themselves, so we'll see if they're going to be able to do it. But Golden Guardians is showcasing they have what it takes to dominate these fights. The Draven did not snowball, their comp did not snowball, and Gori is being really annoying on the LeBlanc, still playing that Shiv build, still looking for the poke, the prod. He is Night Harvester, Shiv, and has that Lich Bane completed as well. So just looking to constantly chunk Cloud9. And if their carries don't have flashes, you can't really play against the Cataclysm.
And River has definitely been the MVP for Golden Guardians this game, just using the Cataclysm to exquisite combos and timings, as Emenes is forced to use the Tibbers because he knows that River was looking for another engage. Fissure on to Fudge, he's got no flash, that Crocodile's dead.
Perfect tipper out of huhi there to catch him right on the end, knocks him up, gets that kill after initially jumping onto Emenes, but you can just see how tanky the front line is. Talking about damage concerns when Emenes has fallen behind, you can see there was very little done to River, so they can kind of fish for these engages. Even if they're not super clean, they're not instantly punished by Cloud9.
Yeah, I mean, River is just walking straight at them. Berserker can't walk up and start autoing him, or he's going to be the one that gets ulted, and he's going to have to flash out. So Emenes just has to drop Tibbers really early on. They're trying to clear out this wave with the Tibbers, but it's not going to happen. And now with Fudge down, Cloud9 has got to run here. No way they hold this inhibitor.
Blaber is, I don't know if he's looking for a flank with these portals, and they already lost the inhibitor tower, but they've gotten a lot of chunk down onto Gori if he can look for it, but that's just the clone. As Blaber, does he look for Gori? He has flash, maybe a Spectral Maw.
I think they were hoping to set up a TP play. You know, I'm not sure if he had a ward in pocket for a TP from Fudge, who was respawning with that, but not going to be an angle. You know, wants to at the very least threaten it, so wards were there. So if Golden Guardians overstay, we would have seen the Renekton flank come in, to group up with Blaber, look to make something happen.
That's a very charitable interpretation. I think he was farming. I think he said, my inhibitor is dead. They can't end the game. I'm going for wolves.
He would have gone topside. Raptors are up.
Blaber,
Jungler's favorite camp.
I don't know. Blaber hates wolves.
He wanted that lane minion XP. Now Fudge might be in trouble. Still no flash once again. Gets the double slice and dice. Zven is here to provide him some extra healing and a getaway, but we have Baron live. Dragon Soul on the table for Cloud9 in 30 seconds. Cloud9 have to decide, do they want to throw all their tools in for this Baron or just save it for the Dragon?
They can't allow them to get Baron. I think if you give them Baron for free, you're never going to get access to that Dragon. So Cloud9 going to try to make something happen. Berserker is way far forward by himself here, though. This is dicey.
Does have flash cleanse this time.
Got to be careful. I mean, it is taking a while for him to actually put damage into Licorice. It's one at a time. Blaber goes in for the steal, but it's secured by River, and the Cataclysm is going to seal Emenes in his doom. Berserker's still alive. Can he carry this fight? Does he have the damage where River's just frontlining it? Gori just dodges right past him and takes out Zven, and without Zven, there's no healing for Berserker. There's no Berserker. There's no way that Cloud9 wins the fight. Golden Guardians are answering back.
Golden Guardians win the game with an ace at Baron. They have a mid-wave they can meet up with, finally answering back against Cloud9.
10K gold lead, only 27 in. Cloud9 went all early game, and Golden Guardians had all the answers in this one. River playing an amazing Jarvan game, showcasing why he was so feared on this champion for so long on Dignitas.
River popping the GA for good measure because he didn't even need it in that last fight. That's just how huge he was. And Golden Guardians finally answer back, showing Cloud9, you need to respect us this year.
Golden Guardians continue their march up the standings, 7-3 now, meeting Cloud9 in the middle, 1-1 this year as it is the second round robin though. Very interesting development in the LCS.
And that leaves EG alone in first now, right? You know, because they actually were able to get their win, so they're alone in first place now at the top of the table. You know, it's going to be Cloud9 and Golden Guardians one game behind, but this was a really dominant win here for Golden Guardians. Cloud9 have been so good in their early games. They came out with a really aggressive composition. They were looking to run over their opponents, but River found a lot of pressure towards mid. Gori was doing great in the 1v1. They got an advantage there. And Cloud9 really never established a lead that I was kind of expecting in the 2v2 bot. You know, I thought the Soraka Draven was really going to be able to create, you know, more of an advantage, maybe farm plates or get a big CS edge. It didn't really happen. So even though Berserker on the Draven eventually got this really fat cash in where he got 3K in one fight, it only caught him up with where Stixxay was. It didn't leapfrog him ahead. It didn't put him to this point where he could hard carry the game.
You can see this last fight again, very close for a second there, but huhi, only one that's going to drop. Split fight, it felt like. C9 was targeting down multiple members. Emenes easily finished off by everyone. And then it's the chase onto Berserker by the backline of River and Gori when they try and get him. And the rest of the team is focusing down onto Licorice and Stixxay, but just too much focus onto Licorice, who, as Cassante, is able to sustain so long while the C9 backside was blown up.
Yeah, I mean, Stixxay is free firing, Berserker is getting clobbered, right? And that's kind of the difference in this fight, is that, you know, the pressure that Golden Guardians were able to put on, I think they did it really, really well. You know, the exhaust is cleansed off, but then that means you're not going to have that for something else. Gori's piling in, Licorice is piling in. Yeah. I think Licorice did a really good job of pressuring him in a lot of these fights. Golden Guardians' target selection was really good. When we had to listen in on their comms, that was really clean. So there's not a lot to pick at in this game. Golden Guardians just played clean.
Yeah, I mean, the only cope for Cloud9 is like, well, we're experimenting with our draft since we're already so far ahead, you know, that's just, unfortunately, that one didn't get worked out. But for us, we're going to be joining Emily and Licorice for our Verizon post-game interview.
Thank you, Raafaa. I'm joined by the victorious Licorice. You guys took down C9. One thing I remember asking you about on the MSI desk, actually, was I'd noticed how much you all had improved as a team, like during your run through MSI. And I was like, what are the chances that you beat C9 going into this best of 5? And then it looked eerily similar to finals, if not slightly worse. So I was like, oh no, we have a JDG BLG thing going on where like it's just gonna look worse and worse for them. You take out C9 today. I guess how much does it mean for your team?
I mean, obviously, it feels really good to beat C9 because I think everyone's looking at them as the top team in the league, and like now we're contesting them for that. But like as always, it is just a best of 1 in the regular season, and like I think the real match is going to come in playoffs. So I'm looking forward to that. Okay.
I talked to you and also huhi in previous interviews about how you guys really, really want to shore up your mid-game communication and calls. I actually was really impressed with a lot of the cross-map things you did. When that Baron fight happens, though, is it just like, oh no, we're in trouble, or we're fine, we already have enough of a lead, it's going to be okay?
I mean, I definitely felt nervous. Like I've been in enough games versus C9 at this point where we had the early lead and then like something goes wrong and it starts to go downhill. But I felt pretty confident in like my team and our draft, so I wasn't too worried.
One thing I really like that you guys did pretty early on is around like 10 minutes, I want to say, you initiated the lane swap to, presumably, not only to use Herald topside, but also to get Stixxay out of the Draven lane. So just talk to me about the impetus for that, because I thought it was a really smart decision.
Yeah, I mean, I was laning top, we killed Fudge, and then I really wanted to take the plate, and then Jay was like, oh, it's really good if we swap here, and I was like, oh, shit.
Let me have it, man, come on.
Like, I really wanted the plate, but it was just, I think, Jay and Trevor's call, and I think it was a really good call to get away from the Draven and just get a lot of gold on Aphelios.
I've talked to you a lot about your top lane picks, kind of about the role of top lane in general. What do you think that role is right now in the current meta, and has it changed at all over the past few patches?
I think top lane's pretty open right now. Like, it doesn't seem like you're stuck playing tanks or you're stuck playing carries. So I think you can kind of just play whatever you want as long as you like either win lane or outscale. Like, those are kind of the two things that you have to accomplish with your pick. So as long as you're doing one of those, then you're okay.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to catch up with me. On the other side of the break, we have NRG versus TL coming up next.
I had the phase that I played pro mid lane, and I used to play some Victor.
When was that?
Didn't you play a lot
Weren't you
of
the
Victor
ASOL
the
guy?
time you won the...
Hello and welcome back to another Golden Guardians 1v1. We're gonna do a series, huhi versus everyone on his team. So he's already played one against Gori. Gori unfortunately did beat you, but you complained of lag.
Oh, dude, I'm lagging! There's no lag. Yeah, I was lagging, so like,
Yeah,
that doesn't
so
count.
you never know. That could have gone either way. Anyways, you two, 1v1 map, take it away.
What do you want, Trevor? Do you want to have a matchup, or like we?
Okay, well, just pick something that's like not super one-sided, so there's some skill involved, you know.
But like the players here, there's some gap here, so
yeah, I agree.
matter, you know?
I agree. Yeah, what if we both hit the random one time and just go?
I like that.
Let's do it.
All right,
Actual
ARAM.
Actual hard random.
2, 1.
Okay.
Ooh.
All right.
Not bad. I like this.
You guys see what each other's picking?
No.
Everyone was ready.
Victor.
Right.
Okay, we got Nar versus Victor.
Nar versus Victor.
What? Who's who?
I'm the Nar.
I'm the Victor. And
I don't like Jay's chances.
Really?
Huh?
The thing is, I have an account where I play top lane, and I've been playing a lot of Nar.
oh yeah, I had the phase that I played pro mid lane, and I used to play some Victor.
When was that?
Didn't you play a lot
Weren't you
of
the
Victor
ASOL
the
guy?
time you won the championship?
Yeah.
Weren't you a Victor one trick back then?
You don't remember my Victor?
Stixxay, what's stronger, you playing a Smurf account in top lane, or Jay being a pro mid laner for multiple years?
I have a championship too.
Okay, the thing is, his was like, was it 7 years ago now? So I've caught up, you know?
You caught up? Okay.
Yeah. If he was playing pro mid lane nowadays, it's like platinum equivalent. To 2016 level? Seriously.
That is true, that is true.
So if he beats you, what does that make your top lane?
Well, I'm currently a D1 on top lane, so
Minions are making it. You're.
Oh, wait, they
what
came out so
item did you
quickly.
buy? Should I buy? Should I buy?
I like this no mirror matchup too because they actually have itemization
Oh,
choices.
yeah.
Whereas normally they just
Are you
agree
building
to...
shift? Wait, there's minion already?
Yeah.
You gotta pay attention,
Oh my
Jack.
God, the mind games by Huhi.
Whoa, one second. Don't come.
Oh no.
Oh, my mouse is bugging.
I come here.
I'm just
I come
dead.
here.
Wait, why did my mouse sensitivity change?
Yeah, mate.
No, I'm serious. Like,
Yes.
Did you press the middle button and change your mouse sensitivity? There's like the DPI switcher as like the button under the mouse button.
Yeah.
Mouse wheel.
Also, maybe you should just check your. No?
I don't want to hit. I got a hand warmer in my pocket, just burning my leg.
I like the mind game by Huhi. Oh no, the minions are here. What?
No, I told he had to cheese every time.
What, guys? Like the
can't
game
play normally.
starts before the game starts. Like,
I was actually going to tell you what I was building. I thought I was going to help you. I was going to tell you what I was building. And you're building shit. Yeah, nice.
boom, baby.
Oh.
A boom, baby.
Wait.
A boom, baby.
What's your damage?
Come here.
That's the Kerche shard damage.
One more.
Okay, I think I need a shard.
I'll do this. Too easy. Too easy. I'll DC for a second.
Actually?
Too easy. That's right. I took.
Oh no.
He's got all.
Death by 1,000 cuts.
It's right here that you're
No.
gonna. Oh no.
He's fast.
Trevor.
Oh no.
Give me that.
Oh no!
Boom, baby!
That's the coward's win.
All right, that'll do it. Huhi moves to 1-1 against his teammates. Stixxay, unfortunately, the first teammate to lose to Huhi, but maybe not the last.
Yeah, too easy. That was too easy, Trevor. You gotta step up a bit.
What do you have to say about that one, Trevor?
I got nothing. I can't speak after that.
All right, thanks for joining us. Thanks for playing.
Thank you.
Who said you can't teach an old dog new tricks?
Typical beginner's mistake.
Yes, they all start from the outside.
So, will we help him?
What else? Here, try it with Red Bull.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Legacies are